Hey class, how you doing? Dr. Petty here, and we are going to be covering the fifth word project out of our textbook. So let's just go ahead and get started with this. So in this project, we're going to be editing fields and links and formatting a resume. And there's some really good tips in here for making your own resume look really nice. With that being said, let's just hop right into this. As always, the first thing we want to do here is we want to click on File, Save As. I'm going to save this to my documents, and I'm going to be saving this as _2. Just make sure that you have that 2 right after the underscore, so that way you can submit your project. And let's just go ahead and jump right into these steps. Okay, so the first step on here is, you're doing a new template for a resume. So the first thing they want us to do here, it looks like, is to change the theme fonts to Canberra to use a more modern set of fonts. All right, so changing the theme font is not the same thing as changing the font up here. I actually want to apply a new font to the theme that I'm using. To do that, I'm going to click onto the Design tab. I'm going to come over here to where fonts are, and I'm going to look for the font that they want us to use, which is Canberra. So there it is right there. Now watch what happens as I update to that. So I selected Canberra. As you hover over these, you can kind of see it applies them, and you see how it applies to the entire document, not just the paragraph you have selected. So we've done that. We've got our Canberra font there. So the next step is to edit the hyperlink in the 4th line of the document. To use linkedin.cengage.com, Kayla Lang, as the text to display to make the web address easier to read. Add LinkedIn page for Kayla Lang as the screen tip text. Okay, so what we want to do here is we want to modify this link because whenever you have a link on a resume, it gets really verbose. It doesn't look very professional if you've got a massive hyperlink. So what we're going to do is we're going to edit this hyperlink like so. And what I'm going to do here is up here where this says text to display, I'm going to edit this to LinkedIn. Actually, you got to make sure you match the casing. LinkedIn.cengage.com. I'm going to do a / and we're going to say Kayla Lang, just like so. Perfect. Okay, so we have to do one other thing here. We have to add a screen tip, and this kind of tells us when a screen tip, if I hover over something, like where it's going to go or what the purpose of this link is. So the screen tip, I'm just going to click that button right there, and we're going to type LinkedIn page for Kayla Lang. No extra spaces. Be sure you don't accidentally do that. Don't add an extra space here. And so we've got our screen tip, as you can see. I'm going to go ahead now and just click OK on this, and OK again. Now you can see this updated, and when I look over the link, what appears here is LinkedIn page for Kayla Lang. So this is the way, like, if you have links on your page, you can say what the link is and where it's going to go. It'll look a little bit better. So the next thing they want us to do here is actually insert an email address. So to do this, I'm going to go ahead and type up the email address that they want us to use, which is klang at mail.cengage.net. Okay, very good. So klang at mail.cengage.net. Now, we need to have this recognized as an email address. To do this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click this after I select this text, and I'm going to come over here to link. Now, once I have it over here at link, what I want to do here is actually just come down here to email address and go ahead and put in the email address that you want to have in here. So for example, that's going to be klang at mail.cengage.net. And as an email address, I have that listed here, so that's perfect. I'm gonna click OK. And then it becomes a mail to. As you can see here, that is different than what we had before. So mail to K Lang. So now we have our email address set up in here. We're ready to move on to our fourth step. So our fourth step says type Kayla Lang in the full name content control to insert her full name. Now these content controls are pretty nifty things. These are document parts that you can put together and use them to make structured elements like names, dates, categories, things like that. We're going to go ahead and put her name in here, Kayla Lang. And that's pretty much all there is to that. So now step number 5 right afterwards says delete the date content control because the date is not necessary in the resume. So let's say we have this header and I want to get rid of this. Now notice there's like a little drop down and it lets me pick a date. I don't want to do that. I don't even want it in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this date button that pops up here. Like so, and then I'm going to right click here so that I can see there should be an option to remove this content control, and there it is right there. So remove content control is going to take that out of there. So now we just have the person's name and no date. So the next step says create a paragraph style named list head based on the business management and finance coursework paragraph. Apply the new list head style to the special projects paragraph. Okay, so remember we did this in class. I'm gonna go over here to the home tab and we have our styles here. Now remember, styles are like buttons that we can create to rapidly format something. But we're gonna create a new one based on this paragraph down here. So if I look at this, I'm gonna select this first. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to my styles group and I'm going to select this drop down menu and there's an option here to create a style like so. Now it's already picking up the formatting for this style from what I selected. So what we're going to do is we're going to call this one list head like such, just like this. Okay, so it says list head and then I'm going to just click OK. And there it is. So you see I have my own new thing there. And now what's really cool about this is that, see how this one isn't formatted and I want it to be formatted? All I have to do is come back over here and then click list head. And that's step number 6, by the way. So once you create the list head, so you're going to create this button, you're going to come down here and apply that button to this one that's blank. So these are really, really helpful in terms of creating new buttons to help you format your document really, really quickly and make it look really professional. So step number 7 says move the table row containing the experience text so that it appears before the search terms row, which creates a more logical organization for the resume. So you know, old ways I see people try to do this, they would literally just kind of cut this out of here and then try to, you know, create a new row below it and then delete the row. And there's actually a much easier way in Word to do this. And it's basically holding down the Alt key and the Shift key together and then using your arrow key like such that you can toggle this. So I'm pressing the down arrow to move that row and everything it's contained below the experience. So again, that's holding down the Alt and the Shift key with that row selected, and then I'm going to tab up and down with my arrows back and forth. If you look here, you want to also be sure, yeah, that when you do this, that you make sure you preserve your styling. It looks like we did, so we're fine. You just want to make sure your search terms are in fact below here. So step number 8 says change the bullet in the experience section to a right pointing chevron from the bullet library symbol 216 in Wingdings to call attention to the bulleted experience item. Okay, so right here we're going to change this bullet. Now we've already done this step before in class on a different project, but what I'm going to do is come over here to my home tab. I'm going to come over here and look at my bullets real quick. And you can see I've already have this. This is the bullet we're looking for, but I'll show you where to find it inside of the actual program. So what we would have to do is, if you don't already have that listed there, we're going to define a new bullet. I'm going to select for look for a symbol, and I'm just going to come down through here and then look for the wingdings symbol that's in here. So amongst these should be the symbol that we're looking for. So if I keep going down, eventually we'll find it. Okay, wingdings. We want to make sure we select wingdings, and then we're looking for wingdings 216. So I can literally just type that in here, and you can see that that's the bullet that you need to find. Okay, so 216 was in the instructions. So again, like I open up the symbols, went to wingdings, character code 216, click OK again, and there we go. Now we have our bullet point. That looks a lot more professional than just a standard bullet point. Okay, so we did that. Step number 9 says insert a comments document property building block in the blank table cell to the right of the search terms heading to include text stored in the comments document property. Okay, so what they're asking for is a quick part that we're going to put in here that allows us to insert comments that creates more of a structured look within the document. Now, to do this, what we're going to do is come over here to the Insert tab, and we're going to look for this thing called Quick Parts. And Quick Parts have different things that you can use to structure your document together. So if you want to call out authors, abstracts, names, keywords, things like that, it builds in that thing for you. It actually makes it a little bit easier for programs to search through it too when they're called out like this. But we are looking for search terms. So we're looking for comments here, right? And there you go. So I put in the comments field, and this allows me to type in and put in comments in here. But what this also does is if I want to search for comments on this document, it knows to take me right there. So that's really good. Okay, so next step is open the file support that came with this document for editing in Word, and then copy the paragraph it contains. Paste the paragraph, keep the source formatting in the blank paragraph at the end of the resume to include a formatted note. So sometimes when you're working in Word, you're going to need to pull things from like an Adobe document because maybe you had an Adobe document that you were working from. If you look here, this is a support. This is what you should have downloaded, this one here. I'm going to go ahead and just open this real quick. And this is going to, you can see this is in a PDF, and this isn't really going to help me. So I need to get it out of a PDF. So what I need to do is open, right click. I'm going to right click this, and I need to come down to open with, and we're going to select Word. Now you're going to get this message. It's going to come up, say, hey, it's going to become a Word document. Don't worry about that. Just do that and select the text that's on the page here. So I'm going to select all this text. All right, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go ahead and minimize this. And I'm going to Control V. I'm going to paste this here. Now, there's one other thing you have to do. Now, whenever I Control V or paste in here, it's going to strip the formatting out. And in this instruction, they ask us to keep the formatting. So to do this, I'm going to come over here to the Control tab. And you see there's several options here. So destination theme, but I really want to keep source formatting. You can see all these are different formats, but we're going to select keep source formatting. This will ensure, make sure there's no extra space here. We'll take a look, see if we got an extra paragraph. Oh, no, we don't. That's good. Okay, so please contact Hayla Lang. That looks good. Let's see if there's anything else here. Yep, step number 11. And final step. It says set top and bottom margins of 0.75 for the document. Then center the document vertically on the page to improve the layout. So what they're talking about is in a resume, you really want to try to squeeze as much as you can in a resume so that, you want to keep it to 1 to 2 pages. Most employers don't want to look beyond that. They're not going to dive through 5 pages of your resume. So the more you can put on a page, the better. But to do that, we need to go over to Layout, Margins, over here from the Margins group. And we're going to have to do a custom margin because what they're asking for isn't in the default list. So here we want a top of 0.75. So I can actually just type this in here directly. And bottom, I also want a 0.75, just like this. Now we have to do one other thing, and it says to align the document to be centered vertically on the page. So I'm going to go to Paper or Layout, sorry. And if you focus your attention over here, you'll see there's a vertical alignment. I want you to set this to center. And watch what happens to your document when we hit OK. You can see that it's a much better alignment on the page. It looks real professional. Everything is aligned to the center of the page, so the margins look even. And that is pretty much all you really have to do with this document. And that is the end of this video. I will go ahead and submit this assignment and make sure it's right. So I put this one in my documents folder so we can watch this. Let's do this again. Okay, I'm going to click start. We'll go ahead and submit that file from documents. That's the one I worked on, date modified. There you are. All right, and we'll submit it just like that. And let's take a look and see how we did. So it says that the email address, I must have misspelled the email address. Okay, so let's go back and fix that real quick. So replace the text email address with a hyperlink that displays and links to clang@mail.cengage.net. All right, let's just redo that step because pretty sure that's what we did, but you know, sometimes maybe we need to do it over. So let's go ahead and get rid of this. And I'm going to go ahead and do a link. So we're back at an email address. Let me make sure I got rid of all of that, actually. Okay, just wanted to be sure. So now I'm going to go to right-click this. Actually, you know what? Okay. And let's try this email address again. So klang klang@mail. Okay. At cengage.net, klang@mail.cengage.net. I'm going to get this out of here. I think this may have been the problem. Get the mail to out, but you need it down here, but not up here. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And that should be what we're looking for right there. Okay, I think that should have done it. I'm going to click Save and try to submit this again, and let's see what happens. All right, there we go, 20 out of 20. So following the steps that I put out in this video, this should help you out. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask in class. Otherwise, have a great day.